Good morning. My name is Kaladaran Chanthirakumar, and this is the Coursework 2 of Advanced Interactive Media Development. For the Coursework 2, I built the game name Midnight Express Mystery. It has if we start the game, it will be presented with the main menu. The main menu has three options: new game, quit, credits. The credits have a author's name, which is my name, and if we press the quit, the game will quit. If we press the new game, it will transition to the main level. Here you can see the skip to skip button, which will use to skip the cutscene, and tap for the controls. It has WASD control for movement, space for jump, and F1 for using the in-game iPad, F2 for the
Bridge City Hall will arrive in 2 minutes.
First-person controllers, and F3 for an iPad overlay, which can be used which is important for the story. This iPad overlay gets updated with the in-game mechanics like the locations, which has a set of array as it array of objects as it required in the Coursework specification to use queue or array. If you approach the police officer, we can see the prompt press I to speak to the officer. If you press I, it will transition into a cutscene, dialogue scene. Here we have two buttons, next and in convo. If you press next button, it will show it will move to the next dialogue, and the character will play the animation.
Train to Brooklyn Bridge City Hall will
this dialogue has
the
story of the game, which is a woman who got killed in a the cafe restaurant, and this dialogue happens between Detective Reed and the main character of this game, and the police officer named Martinez. I put the typewriter effect for the text to make it more immersive. It has the speaker's name and the emotion he's in, and the text. In this dialogue scene, we can implement the suspects, notes, evidence, and even locations to get updated in the interactive the full screen iPad view. For example, when it sees the dialogue Reed is leaving, by this time the full screen iPad is getting updated with the notes the Reed is making. In the background, we can see the NPC who is sitting and NPC who is walking to mimic the environment of the cafe or environment of the subway station. And in the end, there will be a train which will run in the track next to one we are starting the game to mimic the world. Now I am visiting a train. As you can see, The location is getting updated. The crime scene was the scene I talked with the police officer. The metro train is the place I just visited. The subway steps. It will be unaccessible till I visit it. The train is moving. The announcer audio will be played.
The next downtown local
It will stop
6
for a few
train
seconds,
to
then move
Brooklyn
to
Bridge
the
City Hall
next train,
will
then
arrive
disappear,
in 2
then
minutes.
again it will appear in the other end to ride in in a circle. In few seconds it will move. As you can see, all of these environments are high detailed one. You can board the train. You can go inside of the train if you want. This is the subway step location I told. If I visit it, now the location will be get updated. I used array of location data to update it as it as it required in the Coursework specification. Here I used the cafe model. Here also I have implemented two NPCs. One is working and one is just thinking. And the chef. The NPC customers won't arrive until I open the cafe, like I did now. The maximum queue of the NPCs is two. At one time only two NPCs can stay in a queue. I use teleportation to place the NPC as as I couldn't figure a way to work around the NPC's collision with other NPCs because one NPC is behind other one. The NPC is there, but he is invisible. Right now, he is walking to the exit part. If I click next, the other NPC will be seated. The seat dialog button will be disabled for a few seconds, and the seats available will be shown here. But the NPCs who's in the queue will be shown here. Now both NPCs are seated, and the filled seats are shown here. I only put two seats as available for this demo. If I click unseat, one seat is seated and one is available. If I click next one, the other NPC will sit, and we have the total timer here. I couldn't implement the ordering system, food ordering system. I couldn't implement the food ordering system. We have the happiness meter here. And I got this cafe as it required in the course of specification, and I got this ceiling from Sketchfab. These I made these wall prefabs with cube objects, and I created a texture to match the environment. I made these lightning effects. And in the iPad, you can see the current time and date in live. I created a custom note in the Visual Script to update this. Here also you can see I used the iPad game object which is from the Coursework specification. Here you can see the suspect, the police guy in the dialogue scene. The read things like the police guy is also a suspect. So the iPad is getting updated as police guy is a suspect. Right now I only have one NPC with the dialogue scene, so I use that NPC as the police as a suspect. Here we can see the notes that Detective Reed got from the conversation with the police officer. Here's the location we visited. The evidence, I didn't implement the evidence yet, but I used queue and arrays for the NPCs in the cafe and the data objects here. I used the motion builder to blend the animations. And I implemented a pause screen with resume button, main menu button, and quit button. Quit will quit the game. Because and I implemented audios for the train announcement and train movement. We can extend this with where to wherever we want, like in the cafe and everywhere, and we can implement the evidence system. I have the evidence system. We can put the evidence system in any object and show it in the iPad screen. And NPCs, if I fix the NPC showing bug, we can create a working cafe with having conversation with the NPCs, so we can detect the suspect who is the reason for the murder of the woman, which is mentioned in the policeman conversation dialogue scene. And in future, I'm planning to fix the bugs in the about the NPC in the cafe and some animation, and add some more NPCs like cosplay and singing NPCs like that. And I made a logic to disable the train object, which we saw when I was here the first time. Disable the train object once I visited this this invisible trigger box, which I used for the location subway steps to optimize the game. Because once I go upstairs, the train is not needed down, and it's a waste of computational power. So I deactivated the train to save the graphics performance. We can change the logic to show the train if we pass it downstairs. If we pass it again down, and we can, and I'm planning to add more interactive NPCs like NPC singing and much more to make the subway station alive and post a devlog of this assignment in YouTube, as it will help, as I believe it will help my career as a game developer. And this is the main character read. I got these characters from Sketchfab. There are free characters, so there's no copyright needed. It's copyright free characters. The environment is also, I got it free from fab.com as a month sale, including the train objects. The music is also copyright free. And that's my demonstration of the game. Thank you. Here's the Unity project. In here, I have two scenes, the main menu scene for the main menu and the subway scene of which is this current scene. I have visual scripts for the iPad overlay of iPad active state to I used Visual Script to manage the active state of the iPad and the custom node. I created a custom node with C Sharp with Unity's libraries and packages to show the current date and time, as it's not available in the nodes as in Unity for now. In the visual nodes as in Unity for now, and I used Visual Script to show that required first-person controller UI, which is activated with F2. I used Visual Script, which is required in the Coursework specification. I created an animation timeline, a cutscene which is shown when the game is starting. As you can see, the detective is walking towards the camera and stopping while the UI first space to skip is playing is shown. And I have multiple UI elements for each UI screens, positions where the customer will in the cafe will come and exit, and where they will be sit, positions for the cutscenes for the dialogue scene. I implemented camera movements for dialogue, used a separate camera for rendering the dialogue system, and I have the train. This is the train logic, metro train movement I talked about. I mentioned earlier. In this box, it will pause and it will exit in this end of the box. I have several characters. Policeman, the main character player, from the first person controller as it recurred in the assessment requirement. The chef, the NPC which is used for the cafe system. I put him outside of the viewer field so it won't be affected the immersion and the cafe characters. I have several managers for every game logic, and this is the location trigger boxes, volume boxes I used to trigger the location informations. I fixed every single material issues I had with the initial environment because of the render pipeline mismatch, a common ping environment ping texture issue. I used the iPad object from the Blackboard as the course of requirement. I managed to put a hierarchy structure for easier game development to manage the game objects easily, and the folder structure for easy development. And I have several scripts. This scripts manages the tab to first tab to show the controls and the control UI, and this one I implemented for the dialog system between the NPCs in the cafe and the player. I didn't finish it yet. Uh, this one also to find suspects within the customer. Cutscene manager is for the initial cutscene. Dialog manager is used to handle the logic of the dialog UI. Dynasty management is the one uh, with which manages this UI. Evidence trigger is also not properly implemented with the customers and all the game objects. Game manager manages the game level management, and menu manager manages the main menu of the game. Indicator dialog system it has the dialog scripts and values for the with a dialog between the read and the police officer. Interaction trigger volume, it it detects the player whether with the trigger volumes whether he's in range or not. iPad Interactive Manager manages the F3 key full screen iPad game system. iPad Navigation Manager, it works with the iPad Interactive Manager it works with the Dynamic Manager to handles the flow between the iPad flow and the dynastats. And when we click F1, the game, we can't move the player, and the camera movement is paused because if we move outside the iPad objects will be hard to click with the mouse button. The location trigger is for the location volume trigger. Notes trigger, same as notes to get the notes details from the dialogues or anywhere. Post interaction manager, it's to post the game. Post menu manager handles the menu logic of the post menu. Restaurant queue manager handles the queue of the customer, the teleportation when we click the seat diner button, and maximum number of queues, custom animation, chef animation, the food preferences, and I put detailed debugs with gizmos and detailed console logs in every script. I used gizmos to visualize the customers where the customer is facing and everything. Subway NPC manager manages the subway movement of the NPC. Suspect trigger is for managing the suspects logic. Train loop trigger is managing the movement of the train in this platform, this train. The train movement logic is also works with the train loop manager, train loop trigger. Train post trigger is to post the train in this volume box. Trigger animations is from the Blackboard to manage the animations of the characters. Waypoint organizer, I created this script to organize these steps and the lights in perfect sequence and perfect space. as it easy to automatically manage it with a script rather than placing it manually. Here you can see the if you click the space button, the cutscene skips. In here you can see the in the bottom you can clearly see the console logs to debug the game. I use the gizmos to manage the to visualize the NPCs and their position. This is the player NPC one position, NPC two position, the sitting, the standing table position, and where the NPC is facing. And we have console logs. I used debug error type of console log to clearly see some important console logs. They are not errors. They are not errors. They are. I used debug error console log to clearly see some console logs, as you can see here, and the canvas activity like that. And this is the coursework 2 of Advanced Interactive Media Development. Thank you.